Storytime animation. What an insane era this was on YouTube. I don't know if you guys remember it, but there were dozens, if not hundreds of different channels, all making the same type of content. And for a lot of people, this worked out very well. This new meta on YouTube during 2014 to 2020 was killing it in the algorithm, and tons of channels got successful on it. Not for very long, of course, but we'll get into that later. I used to really enjoy the genre, you know, until it got kinda stale and boring to watch at least. I mean, come on, at least put some funny jokes in there like Bruce do or something. Why can't you be more like him, huh? I bet he listens to his audience and gets good grades in YouTube comedy class. I don't think I've even watched a full Storytime animation since 2019, so some of this stuff is gonna be uncharted waters. This video is gonna serve as a retrospective on this chapter in YouTube history, including all the drama, history, and the aftermath of some of the animators and what they're doing now. We begin our journey many years ago, with arguably the two biggest pioneers of Storytime animation on YouTube, and those YouTubers are Domix and Swoozy. A lot of people mistakenly think that JaidenAnimations and the odd ones out started the Storytime animation trend. No, the real OGs of this genre were these two. Swoozy kicked things off first with his ever so iconic Confessions of a Disney Employee. This pretty new format of narrating a personal story in a comedic way, with the backdrop of some art and animation, really made the videos pop. I mean, as I'm writing this paragraph, I'm actually watching the Disney video right now because of how captivating it was. And taking notice, Swoozy changed his content to reflect that, with Storytime animation being what he's known for nowadays. That's right, if you go back to his older videos from 18 years ago, yes really, you'll see he made more real-life vlog content and such. By the way, did you guys know that Swoozy is 43 years old? Yes, really, go look it up right now. He was born in July of 1980, meaning that his high school and Disney stories took place somewhere in the 1990s. Okay, I'm getting off track, but yeah, this video is most likely the catalyst for what I'm going to be talking about. Now, Domix would make his first Storytime animation about a year later in 2012, talking about relationships, which is a common theme throughout his channel, and both are still going strong to this day. When it comes to this trend specifically, these guys were the channels he went to. Every other YouTube animator at the time were migrants from Newgrounds and other similar sites, who mainly focused on things like original comedy sketches, animated podcast or TV show clips, and probably the biggest one of all, video game parodies. I can tell you for a fact, every animator, big or small back then, made some sort of video game parody. That shit was all the rage. I'm talking Pokemon, Zelda, TF2, Call of Duty, Mario, GTA, Minecraft. That's just what you did back in 2010. It's what got the most views and skyrocketed the careers of a lot of YouTubers. But of course, that wouldn't last forever. When YouTube started favoring watch time over views circa 2012, animators pretty much got You see, if you're pumping out a 3-minute animation every few months, your watch time is going to be abysmal since it's only 3 minutes, and it takes you months to upload. This was highlighted in a famous Rubber Ross video about the future of animation on YouTube, and another more recent video by Foot of a Ferret. How can an animation channel make longer videos and upload more frequently than before, you might be asking? And to answer, let's take a look at movies versus TV. An animated movie usually has a huge production budget, especially nowadays, going in the hundreds of millions to produce a 2-hour-long theatrical film that looks absolutely stunning. Animated films, actually all films, are released by a production company every few years. Animation takes time, effort, a skilled team, budgeting, planning, and a whole lot of other factors to make the films that you love. Now imagine someone asks you to make an 11-minute version of that every single week. Yeah, pretty much impossible. That's when you have to start doing things like outsourcing animation work, lowering your budget, cutting corners, etc. That's why any TV show adaptation you see of an animated movie looks very different from the theatrical version. In order to get more frequent episodes, things are gonna have to get a lot cheaper. Look at that new Megaman show. This is definitely not the same quality as the 2010 movie. And that is not Will Ferrell voicing Megamind.
Here's a souvenir. It's either a paperweight or a flash grenade, so careful with that.
That is not Solid Snake. Stop impersonating him.
Now apply this principle to YouTube animators. YouTube is the production company going, hey, no more high quality animated shorts please. We need cheaper and longer videos from you, or else you don't get to eat this week. So the compromise to keep having a living on this website was Animatics. Cheaper and more efficient animation means longer and more frequent videos, which equals a lot more money from YouTube. Of course, not everyone did this. Some ditched animation altogether and did other things. But for anyone new, this was the way things were going to be for the foreseeable future. You want to do animation on YouTube as a full-time career? Gotta do Storytime animations. Anyway, this is the part where we enter the next generation of Storytime animators, circa 2014. The Odd Ones Out and JaidenAnimations are probably the first two names you think of when you think Storytime animation. And not without cause, they're the two biggest ones out there, with very few even reaching 1 million subscribers. Both started around the same time about 9 years ago and steadily grew from there. Did I say steadily? I meant rapidly, because they blew up almost instantly, which many people took notice of. Jaiden actually started out as an animator for IS Cupquake, before hitting it big on her own, while James started out immediately with Storytime stuff, and soon enough, they started collaborating. I always admired James's older videos around this time. He had a certain charm and down-to-earth feel that made no matter what he talked about interesting to watch. Also, he seemed to really like sharing some private and personal information in some videos that are now privatized or deleted altogether. In fact, why don't we go through each one and I'll take a guess as to why it's not on his channel anymore. Alright everybody, it's time to play Why Did James Delete These Videos? With your host, Ryan Ricci. I have no idea why. This video is totally fine. I guess out of embarrassment? I don't know. This one seems to be for very minor reasons. A common thing that James and many other artists do is that they draw Asian people with coin slot eyes to recreate monolids, which many Asian people have. Some took offense to this as they saw it offensive to draw Asians like that, so he probably took it down for that reason. I'm assuming that since James is a massive figure in the public space, he doesn't want to talk about his family too much, given that there's a risk of their lives being disrupted from crazy fans, so it's understandable. Not really sure why, to be honest. The best I could come up with is embarrassment, but come on. Don't be a coward, James. Everyone pisses themselves at one point. You don't need to feel ashamed. In fact, I'm doing it right now. This video talks about and took place during VidCon 2016, which I'm gonna get into soon, but it's probably off his channel out of respect for Jaiden. This clip seems to be what people got really riled up over.
You have to talk your way into more candy. This is what you do. You dress up as a doctor or nurse and put your local children's hospital logo on your chest. You'll carry 2 pillow cases around, and I would advise to go to the next neighborhood over. Make sure no one knows who you really are, because to use this trick, you're gonna have to lie. Anonymity is key, so every time you go to someone's door, you tell them these exact words. Oh, this? My mom works at a children's hospital, and I wanted to get some candy for the kids that couldn't go trick-or-treating. Some of those kids, man. Because of their cancer, they can't have any Milk Duds or Whoppers. I don't know if they'll make it till Thanksgiving. 90% of the time, parents will give you a big handful of candy.
But to me, this is very clearly a joke and not meant to be taken seriously, but what are you gonna do? James talks about Christopher Columbus, who's a very controversial figure, especially in recent times, and also talks about bloody and violent things that he doesn't want on his channel. He's much more kid-friendly now than he was back then. But I didn't really think the mere mention of blood was enough to get it taken down. Same with just talking about Christopher Columbus. Nothing offensive about this video at all. Yet again, most likely deleted out of embarrassment. James makes a joke about migrant workers.
Instead of 8 maids a milking, get 8 migrant workers. We got it.
So this video had to go too. I'm starting to sense a theme here. Understandably, this was deleted out of fear of getting sued by Derek Savage himself, or just because he doesn't want old drama videos on the channel anymore. Yet again, people got mad at the way he drew Asians, so this video's gone too. Sadly, this was taken down because some cupcake munchers decided to turn the acronym MAP from Multi-Animator Project, which is what it should always be known as, to minor attracted person, aka given the second meaning, which grew ever so popular at the time, he took it down. Also, there's a slight chance it was also because of this bitch, who made this terrible drawing of me many years ago before the allegations came out. While James was away on holiday in France, he stockpiled about a dozen small videos to go up on his channel while he was gone. I remember in one video, he talked about being a test tube baby, and other personal details that he probably doesn't want public. He also makes a 9/11 joke in the baby names video and makes fun of gingers in the riddles video. I don't really agree with James taking down most of these videos, to be honest. A few of them I get for sure, but for mildly offensive jokes, some people are gonna hate you no matter what you do differently. No matter how much you apologize or how much you suck up to them, it's never worth it to bow down to people that try to call you out for the most inoffensive things, because the goalposts are always moved no matter what you do. It's his choice in the end, and if he wants to portray himself as a squeaky clean, safe advertiser and kid-friendly channel, then go ahead. You have my permission. but the relatability and enjoyment I got from watching his videos is pretty much gone now, and I'm not really interested in it like I used to be. Weirdly enough, his music video called Life is Fun, featuring Accused, Law Oblivious Groomer Boy in a Band, is still up, including merch of his character you can find on his website. You'd think this would be one of the first videos that got taken down like Jaiden did with her collaboration with him, but it's still up to this day. I mean, I guess it's innocent until proven guilty, but it kinda contradicts the whole kid-friendly and corporate thing he has going on. She also has some deleted or privatized videos which are off of her channel. A majority of them though are just old announcement videos and stuff that doesn't reflect who she is now. But 2 of them are actually pretty interesting to talk about, so let's do it. I think this was taken down because of some old drama that isn't really relevant anymore. Although, digging deeper, some people accuse Jaiden of doxing a minor? Which is very much not the case if you watch the video. She ended up calling the police on an impersonator, but it was for reasons unrelated to just impersonating her. Judging from the DMs between them and the warning she gave, I'm assuming that the impersonator started threatening self-harm or something after getting caught, causing Jaiden to become concerned for their safety and call 911. Not once does she ever leak any private info about this person, so I'm not sure how people chalked it up to doxing. It's a little strange this video got taken down, since there's nothing really offensive or deeply personal about this video. Although there's several rumors out there that some interpersonal drama happened between Tim-Tom and James, which made Jaiden delete the video. Allegedly, there were some accusations thrown out by both James and Tim-Tom against each other. Tim-Tom accused James of only making a collaboration video because he wanted special access and privileges to VidCon, which Tim-Tom has several connections to, seeing as he used to work there. James accused Tim-Tom of pressuring him to make the collaboration because he wanted publicity and boosted numbers, because at the time, Tim-Tom only had like 2 videos. And again, allegedly, there were some texts that got leaked in which Tim-Tom badmouths James and Jaiden's work, also claiming that Jaiden leached off of James's success to get where she is now. Even stranger, Tim-Tom also deleted half of his collaboration between him and Jaiden on his channel, where they drew monster babies. Do any of these messages exist? Did James and Tim-Tom really accuse each other of that? Is there any information on this topic? Nope. Well, a little bit. Let me talk about that first. In a podcast from the YouTuber Gamer from Mars, Tim-Tom and James are both guests, and James says this at 36 minutes and 57 seconds in about his collaboration with Tim-Tom.
And I looked at them, I liked both of them, I even subscribed to both of them, and then I sent him back an email. I said, hey, I really like your videos, but you should make more. So I said no at first, and then he asked again, sending like a really long message basically saying please, and I didn't read that email. I was just like, okay, whatever, fine. I took pity on him, so I just followed him on Twitter. I followed him on Twitter and was like, we can collab, it's fine, right? And so then we collabed, and then that video got, how many views did it get? It got a bunch.
James said he collabed with them out of pity, not because he wanted VidCon access. I'm leaning more towards James's side, to be honest, because he's collabed with hundreds of smaller channels before, and this is not out of character for him to do. And that's really all I could find for evidence. For some reason, this is a super common rumor that people spread around like it's gospel. There are 0 links, screenshots, or anything which could prove this happened, besides Trust Me Bro from a few Redditors. Could this be true though? No idea. I don't know what happened between them to make Jaiden take down the video, and at this point, I don't care. The most plausible reason is that some weirdo fans decided to leave fake 1-star reviews at the hotel they stayed at, which probably caused issues that Jaiden didn't want to deal with, so she privatized the video. Later, some more people started to pop up, such as Tony V Toons and It's Alex Clark, where then they would all form the original animation squad during VidCon 2016. And I say original here because the squad would gain and lose members in the following years. Speaking of VidCon 2016, we need to talk about a specific member of the animation squad and a certain incident that happened during VidCon. You see, at this point, Jaiden was the only member of the animation squad not to have done a face reveal, and the reason why is actually really heartbreaking, which is talked about in more detail in a very personal and serious video she made on her channel. In the video, she mentions that a certain someone in her group was vlogging and blatantly showing everyone's faces for all to see when the video was edited and published. One of those faces being Jaiden, who specifically told him afterwards that she did not want her face in the video at all, even offering to edit the video herself to blur out her face. This certain someone decided to say nope and uploaded the video uncensored to his channel, even using tags and hashtags like #facereveal and #JaidenFaceReveal to bait the audience into clicking the video. The ED video came out. People in the community at the time immediately knew who it was. This incident happened many years ago, so I think it'll be fine to talk about it, but yeah, it was Alex Clark. I should also mention that after doing some digging, Alex actually said yes to blurring her face, and Jaiden spent hours editing the video for him by herself, only for Alex to do a 180 and say, "F it, I'm uploading the unblurred version," the video on his channel for almost a year, before quietly deleting it in April of 2017. Surprisingly, this isn't the only time that Alex has done something this disrespectful to Jaiden. On February 24th, 2018, Alex created a randomly generated Twitter poll for what his next animation should be for a challenge on his channel. Strangely, Jaiden was one of the options for the first poll, and for the second poll, another option for some reason was cry eating pizza.
So, we made a poll. You had to pick between Mr. Incredible, JaidenAnimations, Lincoln Loud, and Rebecca Parham. I love all of those guys. They're all so good. And then the second poll was for what that character would be doing. He had to pick between shaving a body part, crying while eating a pizza, riding a pig, or dabbing. Let's see what happened. Let's find the results. Who are we animating here? Jaiden! That's awesome. That's gonna be so good. I hope she doesn't have to shave her back or something. Cry eating a pizza. All right, the votes are tabulated.
Alex claims that he used Jaiden in the poll because he thought it would boost her career and rebuild their relationship. Now, I don't exactly see how mocking a person with an eating disorder is rebuilding a relationship, but who knows.
JaidenAnimations, cry eating a pizza. If you want to see more animations like this, definitely leave a comment down below. Or if you want to make this into a GIF and send it to Jaiden herself, I'm sure she'll love it. I know I do.
Actually, we do know that's not how you do it, because Jaiden saw this on Twitter and commented, "This is rather insensitive to my past and what I've gone through. Please don't," causing Alex to delete the video and issue a statement. One thing he mentions really pissed me off though. It's that he claims neither himself or anyone who saw the video before it was uploaded remembered she had an eating disorder.
Neither myself or anyone who saw the video before posting remembered that Jaiden had struggled with food in the past, and we posted the video not realizing how insensitive it was.
For starters, how exactly do you forget that one of your friends has a very serious and incredibly destructive illness that's causing them major problems? I mean, he said he wants to repair their relationship, yet he can't be bothered to remember how he hurt her before and what caused the rift in the first place? Second, this Twitter poll thing is incredibly fishy to me. You're telling me that the specific combination of prompts for your animation challenge just so happened to be chosen by your audience? I don't know, man. All I know is that this guy makes Coomer bait for toddlers, and he can barely break 20,000 views despite having 4 million subscribers. One more note on this topic though is that he actually made a proper response video to this whole situation in March of 2023. In summary, the video is a public apology where he also gives his side to the story and what was going on from his point of view. Alex apologized to Jaiden privately, and it seems as though they're on okay terms as of now. However, he mentions that Jaiden gave him full consent to post her face unblurred, but in Jaiden's video, she says that Alex was very pushy and wouldn't be convinced otherwise in the end, so she felt pressured to just say yes, and let him upload the video.
They told me they changed their mind and wanted to post the normal video. I was absolutely mortified and forced myself to explain to them the main reasons why I don't want to show myself, hoping that if they knew the story behind it, it would help them change their mind again. But it didn't. I've had disagreements with this person in the past, and from what I understand, this person is very adamant when they have their mind on something. So if me having edited the video for them and explaining the story behind it wasn't enough, I came to the conclusion I couldn't do anything else to change their mind and let them post it.
Alex's response even had a segment where he listed out every hate comment he got because of his actions, to try and garner sympathy, which he had to again apologize for after receiving backlash. Needless to say, this whole thing happened years ago, and I'm sure everyone involved is done talking about it, so let's give this a rest and move on. So the animation squad would later gain some new additions like Tim Tom and Something Else YT around 2016 to 2017. During this time, we also saw the rise of many other independent Storytime animators like Emirichu, Sugar, Scribblejuice, Katsun, Illuminations, Kelsey Animated, Kurt Ritchie, Cypherden, Rebecca Parham, etc, etc. Look, I can't name every single one because there's so many. But things really exploded with the amount of YouTubers who did this sort of content. This is the golden age, the absolute peak of popularity and views for this genre. YouTube would recommend these channels to everyone, and it worked perfectly for the algorithm, which is the main reason as to why 99% of them are aimed towards young children. Hell, this thing was so big that some of them got featured in YouTube Rewind 2018, aka the worst one. But while the animation squad and many others were expanding, another group of smaller Storytime animators were quickly rising, forming their own group called the Kindergarten. This group was actually really big, consisting of around 20-ish members, give or take at its peak. The members included Tabs, Laddie, Gingerpale, Rushlight Invader, DadenAnimations, Cadet K, Chili Panda, Turtle Amigo, Gurgacow, Vanimations, The French Pineapple, Species, Rachrab, Taylor's Chronicles, Ivan Animated, 8-Bit, Jackademia, The Amazing, Pantsless Pajamas, and the founder, Utunes. Just like the animation squad, the Kindergarten would frequently collab with each other, and were pretty much just a big friend group. Although, as you may remember, one particular member seemed to attract the most amount of drama out of any of them. That member being Speechy. Speechy was very different from the personalities of nearly all other Storytime animators. Your standard one would be introverted, awkward, have social anxiety, that whole song and dance, you know? But Speechy was, to put it bluntly, rude, mean, disrespectful, and all around just kind of an asshole with how she presented herself. This is very evident from her older videos that have been picked apart by many other channels, so I'm just gonna summarize. In one video, she says this.
Now, let's remember 12th grade. Like I said, all of a sudden, the same people who ignored the poor 14-year-old sitting alone on the cold concrete, all of a sudden were interested in her. Now, this annoyed me. I never sipped on that dumb bitch juice, so I wouldn't play into their games. Some from my old high school may call me mean for my behavior towards them when they would be friendly. But I saw right through that shit. Where was this interest in me when I was completely alone in 9th grade, Nowhere, because I had nothing to offer them. I was just a weird 14-year-old who drew and wrote fanfiction in her free time. Now that I was a 17-year-old with a growing YouTube channel, I had something they wanted. So, what'd I do? I was rude to them, biting back at them, snapping when they'd talk to me. Sorry, but I'm not going to accept your fake friendship when you ignored me for 4 years.
And multiple other times where she just bullied random people from her high school. With this aura of hatred and negativity you can smell through the computer. There's also a lot of evidence of her tracing from stock images and other artists for thumbnails, which are still up on YouTube unchanged. Of course, this won't last forever, as she actually started to improve her content and took the constructive criticism offered to her, instead of blocking people like before. Her Sona was updated and looked much nicer. Her videos had a much more upbeat and positive theme to them, and it seemed like she was becoming overall a better person as time went on and she matured. Well, a few years later, we got the reason as to why she acted the way she did before. It turns out, Speechy was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, or BPD, which explains a lot of her behavior beforehand. To her, Speechy was so detached from who she was as an actual person that she hardly recognized her Sona anymore. She's now changed her name to Pickle, and mostly live streams now. And from what I can tell, she's doing a lot better. I'm honestly really glad that she got the help she needed and is in a much better place now. It's not often that you see people turn their lives around like she did. Good for her. As for the rest of the Kindergarten, let's just do a speed run of where their careers went because I've got a lot of ground to cover. Her uploads aren't as frequent anymore, taking months in between them, but her last upload was 5 months ago, so she's somewhat active at least. Their last upload on the channel was 2 years ago for the MrBeast #TeamC fundraiser, but they're an active member of the Voice Chat podcast, and this channel I've never heard of until now called Pink Poppy, which seems to be a collaborative animated sketch channel run by several people, one of which being Laddie. Not to mention also being a storyboarder for The Odd Ones Out. He's actually gotten really popular and uploads high quality animations every few months, but it seems like he's moved on to just talking about whatever he wants. His last upload was a year ago on his channel, but he's a second member of the Voice Chat podcast and also works for The Odd Ones Out as a 2D animator. His last upload was some original music he made, which was over 3 years ago, but he's still active on Twitter and is still in this line of work. Her last upload was 6 years ago, and it looks like most of her work was actually just animated Game Grumps segments and stuff for Jar Media. I don't think we can exactly classify her as a Storytime animator, so I'm not really sure why she's in the Kindergarten, but whatever. Her Twitter and Instagram are both deactivated, and her last post on DeviantArt was from 2017. Last upload was 2 years ago, and it was the announcement of her VTuber debut, although her Twitch channel is completely gone, so I guess that never panned out. Wait, she made a new one. Wow, she's actually doing really well. 32,000 followers is nothing to scoff at. I actually used to be a mod on her old Twitch account before I discovered she made a new one. Oh well. She quit making Storytime animations years ago actually, with her last upload being 3 years ago. However, she's become a very successful background and viz dev artist. She makes good stuff, check it out. It was really hard finding anything on this person because they completely wiped their existence off the face of the internet. The only times they're mentioned is in 2 diss tracks, one made by U-Tunes and the other made by Tabs like 7 years ago.
Animations, I know that you can hear me out there. I seen you visit us once. You know we got that side glare. Your laughter's like a damn roar. We heard a million miles away, but why not stop by over now? Why don't you come back and stay?
Fan of Animations, I hope you hear what I'm saying. She animates her adventures cause she sucks at playing. She's a trainer, so she knows to admit defeat. Rope Pokey Master here, so she better take a seat.
The only thing you can find is her old Twitch account that hasn't been active in 7 years. The last thing posted is her contribution to a multi-animator project from December 2016. By the way, this is also the first time I'm hearing of this person, so sorry if I don't have any details. They haven't uploaded a Storytime animation in 2 years, however, they're a lead artist for Solidus JJ and an animator for Get Mads. All of their videos have been deleted besides their shitposting channel, however, they're still active on Twitter. Well, as of writing this, they seem to have left, so shit. Her one video has been deleted, and she also quit Twitter, but she's still active on Twitch, and she streams, Valorant. Last upload was 2 years ago, but he's still active on other channels such as Recreo, which is sadly going to be discontinued very soon at the time of writing this. And he got married in October, so good for him. Looks like all of his content is gone, but he's still active on social media like Instagram, and seems to still be in contact with other members. Jack is still active on YouTube, and like SrPelo, makes videos about anything they want, seems to be doing pretty good. The Amazon got very successful, yet for some reason stopped uploading to his main channel about a year ago, although he is active on the voiceover podcast, and is the 3rd and final host of it. In fact, he's the artist for the logo and banner. PJ hasn't uploaded for around a year, but that's mainly because of her unfortunate health decline, both physically and mentally. In her last video, she says she's been diagnosed with GERD, PCOS, and tendinitis, which have to be pretty awful to go through every day of your life. It's understandable as to why she's not as active anymore. Despite being the founder of the kindergarten, U-Tunes doesn't really upload as much. His last upload was a short podcast with Ivan Animated 6 months ago. He's still active on Twitter and edits for Recreo. Copycat is a term that got thrown around a lot during the peak of this era. If you were an up-and-coming Storytime animator, there's a high chance that someone would have called you a copycat of James or Jaiden at some point. Many of these criticisms came from the infamous critics, who started a huge beef with the animators around this time. To put it lightly, it was a bit of a shit show. DaftPina is probably the name you think of when you think Storytime animator critic, because his channel, at least at the time, focused heavily on this topic. His old videos consisted of animator reviews, where he shared his thoughts and opinions on this week's Storytime animator. He really stood out from the others with his unique brand and style of presentation. His editing is actually pretty good, and the visuals are appealing to look at. However, the way he talks is so damn slow. He takes like 30-minute breaks in between each word, and it really makes it a pain to sit through. Just talk normally and get your point across, god damn it! Anyway, he's most well known from his controversies with some of the reviews he's made, such as how Jaiden faked her face reveal. In summary, it's a petty and overly harsh hit piece on Jaiden, with points that make no sense at all, and attack her for no reason, claiming that her issues were all fake. For example, he claims the tone of her face reveal video is manipulative, because she talks with a more upbeat and energetic voice in her regular videos, with him also calling her out for having a less structured and messy art style for it as well.
In Jaiden's regular video, My Random Thoughts, you can see she is energetic, sarcastic, and awkward. And for her art style, it's more structured. And, at least compared to the other video, is in color. But for her face reveal, she sounds depressed, is slow to talk, and she likes to end words or sentences with a dramatic break for effect. And as for her art style, she only uses the colors blue and black. And as for the line quality, it feels less structured, as it looks more like scribbles rather than a formidable drawing, like the other video.
Wow, DaftPina, it's almost like it makes sense to talk in a more serious tone of voice, and portray your struggles with mental health in a visually metaphorical way. He also complains about the length, claiming that she could have easily explained the whole thing in 5 minutes without the sad and depressing visuals and script.
Her face reveal is unnecessarily long because she wrote it that way. She uses many examples of her, quote, downfall as a person, and she uses many forms of imagery to visualize the situation for her audience. This practice, however, was intentional, as if the video wasn't that long, you probably wouldn't have cared. As the more you watch, the more you feel for her and her troubles, that when she finally shows her face, you are up to tears as you clap for her and congratulate her for her struggles in life and accomplishments and making it this far in her life. And after watching it, you feel that she deserves being where she is right now. And she is amazing for beating the odds of her mental disorders. And if you experienced any of that, then she just baited, hooked, and got you with her emotional guilt. And as I'll talk about later in the video, you can easily boil down that 13-minute video into 23 seconds.
Again, there's many videos out there and many comments which dissect and call out Daft on his bullshit. So I'm not going to talk about every single point he makes. All you need to know is that Daft does not have a good reputation in the community. At least he didn't back then. Recently, he seems to have wiped some older videos off of his channel that I'm hoping he's not proud of anymore, and also rebranded to Dove and Draws. Nowadays, Daft seems to be on good terms with most of the people he made videos on, assuming that he apologized in private and such. He even met up with Tim Tom in real life, and they both reacted to his old Tim Tom video. Except his reputation hasn't really improved that much. As I was looking into him again, I saw a video by Definitely Bored Oranges, which highlights some of the more recent shitty things that Daft has been doing. I'm gonna link his video in the description, so if you want more lore, go check him out. There's also the others such as Turkey Tom, Ellis Mark, and The Right Opinion, which honestly just made 1 or 2 videos on the topic and moved on from it, which seems to have worked in their favor, seeing as they're all thriving compared to Daft, who averages like 10k viewers per video. Speaking of them, most of their videos critiquing the Storytime animation community were actually really well received, even by those talked about in the video. And looking back, they're not as mean-spirited or nitpicky as Daft was. There's also this broad criticism that every Storytime animator gets, which is the "this isn't animation, they're just moving PNGs" critique. I mentioned early on in the video about how much time and effort animation takes, and how YouTube pretty much forces them to make lower quality and longer videos, so I won't get into it. But I've noticed more recently that all the huge channels which used to get this critique have teams of people working for them now, to the point where they just become their own production company, and can pump out long and high quality animations every month or so. I guess in the end some of them did listen, and improve their content tenfold, which is always good to see. Well, when you're raking in hundreds of thousands of dollars each month, it makes sense to up the budget on your main source of income. I will give DaftPina props for one really good video he made, specifically on one, I guess technically 2 channels, those channels being Fox Goodman and Matt Spicer. Fox is a very interesting character in this whole thing. His channel is very clearly inspired by The Odd Ones Out, a little too much. His character stills are essentially just traced from James directly and painted black, being nicknamed The Black Ones Out. Not to mention even more tracing from James. Just overall bare bones and low effort content that has no soul or passion behind it. It's very clear to me and many others that Fox wanted to ride the Storytime animation train for the views and money, and not out of any interest for the medium. If he did, he would make a solid original character, stop tracing, and focus on his own brand. What do I mean by this? Well, there's a ton of evidence to support that Fox Goodman and Matt Spicer are the exact same person. Their voices are nearly identical.
You can see the frequencies match up despite the voice change.
JaidenAnimations.
Their upload schedules are almost always one after the other. Their content is the exact same.
No
Alex Clark going up against the Odd Ones Out. We got ourselves a chess boxing match, everyone. So let the epic introduction for these guys begin.
Prepare yourself, Alex Clark.
We are back in action, my friends.
How's it going, you
I'm
guys?
so glad
Welcome
to see you
back.
back.
So,
And
it looks
holy...
Their art style is the exact same, etc, etc. Everyone is convinced that these two are the same person. Why would someone do this, you may ask? Money. Probably. What could beat having one successful Storytime animation channel? 2, of course. Double the views, double the income. Actually, nobody really knows why he did this, it's just the leading theory. It doesn't even make sense because his channel is floundering, getting less than 1,000 views per video. Now, his blatant copying of James is something he was criticized for and took notice of, making a response. His response was that he admits to being a clone channel and is perfectly happy with not being original and copying someone else more successful.
As you can see, I have no problem making videos in my own art style, but I am a clone channel, and I like being a clone channel. And hey, who knows? I actually might make a few videos in my own art style in the future.
I mean, this guy, no exaggeration, holds James on a pedestal, claiming that only his opinion matters on this whole thing, and calling for his audience to harass James into making a video or something about this.
I have my opinion on this. You guys watching this video have your opinion on this, but we're forgetting about the most important person's opinion about this whole entire thing, and that's the Odd Ones Out himself. So I really think we should tweet at the Odd Ones Out and show him this video and hear what he thinks about all of this.
This is the fucking kicker though. After talking about the Matt Spicer thing to prove that they aren't the same person, he created a GoFundMe to raise $100,000 to reveal both him and Matt Spicer's face.
And the only way to prove that Fox Goodman and Matt Spicer are not the same person is with a double face reveal in one video, but in one condition. This is where GoFundMe comes into play. I want to raise $100,000 out of this GoFundMe.
This obviously never happened, so I guess we'll truly never know. Both of these channels just have nothing burger content, by the way. It's a slog to get through 2 minutes of them. They just talk about bullshit for half the video and say absolutely nothing while speaking so much. It feels like AI generated content even back then. In the following years though, Fox actually changed up his character slightly, going from his original Black Ones Out character to adding hair and a vest, to getting skinny, to becoming this weird ice cream blob thing, to then just literally being a copy paste of James' character, and then just saying F it and making himself a circle with arms and legs. Also, for some reason, in these thumbnails, he kind of copies the line thickness and style of another YouTuber, ChainsFR. Like I said, it feels like AI-generated content. Exact same story for Matt Spicer too, he's doing the thick line here. They both obviously stopped making Storytime content years ago when that train departed, so Fox just talks about random things, and Matt does mainly boxing content. Why am I treating this guy like two people? Final point I want to mention before I move on. But Fox again tried to prove that he's not Matt Spicer by setting up an easily fake Discord call between them, where they both sound like they're talking at each other and not with each other.
I don't get it. How do you have a truce in Dead by Daylight?
You technically can. Yes, you can. You can have it. You can have a truce in Dead by Daylight. You just need like an inside man, all right? Or in this case, like
inside man
job.
in Dead by Daylight, an inside man.
Dead by Daylight. Okay, dude.
It's just so unnatural and really doesn't prove anything. I don't have much else to say about this guy. He makes shitty nothing burger content, and both channels have fallen out of relevancy since this drama took place. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent here and talk about an incident that took place around 2018, and a certain someone who doesn't understand what boundaries are. When it comes to celebrities in general, a lot of fans don't exactly respect their privacy or understand that they're human too. It leads to a lot of incidents like the one I'm going to talk about, where people overstep boundaries and invade their personal spaces. YouTubers are no stranger to this, with incidents of fans showing up at their house, calling their friends and family to find out where they are, following them in public, etc. Sadly, Emi Richu had to deal with a stalker that did a lot of what I described. First, he decided to contact her friends to try and meet up with her. Obviously, that didn't work, and people don't exactly like being used as stepping stones to meet someone. So already this is not looking good for him. He would then draw some not safe for work of his character in Emi Richu, doing it, which she obviously did not take too kindly. I have no idea what's going on in this guy's head to think that publicly posting that would get her to talk to him, but who knows. After getting blocked, she made a statement warning people about him and his behavior. This obviously would not stop him though, as he managed to find her at Anime Expo 2018, and as described by her.
During Anime Expo, I think it was 2019, it was like last year, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Anime Expo 2019, they saw me in like the artist alley. They saw me, and they did this thing where they like pretended to trip in front of me. And I was like, I'm gonna turn around. As we're like moving through the artist alley, I see that he's following me. If you see me turn around from where we were, do not pursue me.
I think what his goal was that he wanted her to help him up or something and then get her to talk to him that way. And despite that not working, he started to follow her throughout the convention. One of his family members, yes, his family was there, asked if she could take a photo with him. Reluctantly, she agreed, hoping that he would fuck off afterwards. He didn't, of course, and approached her for another photo at a fan meetup thing she organized.
Help! Help me! Help!
After this whole ordeal, he made a video about the whole convention and of course put featuring Emirichu in the title.
Now this surprised and scared me at the same time because this was the first time that I've actually met Emirichu. I'm not even kidding. I was so surprised, my walk turned into a trip.
Oh shit! Oh my god.
Incredible. But it was all good. Okay, moving on.
And Emirichu even commented on it, telling him to leave her alone. Thankfully, he seems to have matured and learned his lesson from this whole thing, and quit stalking her. I also want to thank the YouTuber RT60 for the explanation of this incident in his iceberg video, so go check him out. Moral of the story, I can't believe this needs to be said, but don't do what this guy did when you want to meet people you admire online. Despite how untouchable they seem, they're still human too. Now it's around 2018 to 2019, and people are starting to realize that there may be way too many Storytime animators, all making the same type of content. No offense, but some of these channels are hardly even trying to be unique or transformative with the genre. They all just feel like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. Not to say that there aren't some really talented individuals who popped up, but their impact was sadly overshadowed with the amount of slop there was. It was getting stale and boring. In fact, this is usually the way these channels would operate.
Step 1. Name yourself something like animations or tunes or whatever. Step 2. Design your character to be a white blob with black eye holes, a pullover hoodie, some hair that looks like this. Step 3. Create your first few videos talking about something mildly inconvenient that happened to you, or how much you hate school. Step 4. DM the odd ones out begging for a collaboration, and pray to the YouTube gods that he says yes. Make sure to put "Virtually the odd ones out" in the title and put him in the thumbnail, even if he has like 2 lines. Step 5. Watch as your video gets 100k views and you get a few thousand subscribers from the Odd Ones Out fans. Step 6. Keep making videos that slowly dwindle in viewership, realizing that shoutouts from bigger YouTubers aren't a sustainable way to keep an audience. Step 7. Abandon the channel, as you aren't pulling the numbers you wanted. You realize that creating good videos takes a lot more effort and time than you initially thought. Aww. Look who just lost her 15 minutes of fame.
I am kidding, of course, mostly. I understand that most of these are run by kids and teenagers who are just having fun, but I think my point still stands in that there was a huge oversaturation in Storytime channels, which ultimately killed off a lot of the viewer base as time went on. Going into 2019, a lot of the big ones jumped from telling stories to just talking about whatever they wanted. For example, The Odd Ones Out makes videos about his thoughts and opinions on certain topics, and informative videos about the animation/entertainment industry as a whole, while JaidenAnimations does more gaming-centered stuff with their friends. Eventually, you just kind of run out of stories to tell, at least interesting ones. For most, it was a smooth transition. Slowly, just stop telling stories and break out of that Storytime box, which can really constrict you creatively. Now these guys are more popular than ever, getting millions of views per video. This same story can't be said for most other creators like I mentioned before. Their channels lay dormant and abandoned as they moved on from YouTube or worked for someone else now. Although during COVID, some of them made a big return since everyone was stuck inside and there wasn't much else to do. This would not last long though, as the hype and audience for this type of content either grew tired or simply moved on. Obviously, this isn't the case for every Storytime animator out there. There are still channels to this day that create Storytime animations who are super popular. All I'm saying is that the cultural phenomenon this genre was at the time is long gone, and the YouTube ecosystem is very different from what it once was. I mark the downfall of Storytime animation content starting with one of SrPelo's best works he's ever created, that being Every Storytime Animation, released on July 30th, 2019. If you haven't seen this video, then please go watch it. It's one of the funniest animations and satirizations I've seen on YouTube. In short, the video is a parody of almost every known Storytime animator there is, incorporating a plot that sees the animators fight the critics, until the ball bursts in and tries to stop the animators from reproducing. Obviously, I'm being hyperbolic. I don't think SrPelo actually caused the downfall, but the video might have made audiences think, haha, yeah, there are a ton of Storytime animators out there. Sadly, for some reason, this video really pissed off Aaron Hansen of the Game Grumps, who took it upon himself to defend the animators. Even though the video is so lighthearted and goofy, it's nearly impossible to take seriously.
This is mean. I got made fun of like this all the time when I made cartoons and it fucking sucked. It didn't give me a thick skin or make me a better artist or make me think more about what I was doing. It just hurt. The fact that all the people patting you on the back for this cartoon are old school Newgrounds types with very few STAs commenting speaks volumes. You can use this thread to pretend it's all in good fun, but it's not fun. It's mean. It hurts. These are kids who are all creating, sharing themselves, and trying to find a way to belong. This video only serves to segregate two groups of individuals, both primarily populated by people who desperately want to connect with one another. Wow, Aaron, I seriously don't mean any harm with this. I don't mind them making their stuff. Yes, it's with jokes and stuff, but the last thing I want is to hurt. I even watch a few STAs. I even tried to imitate the style of animation to respect that instead of, haha, they don't move.
Thankfully, Aaron and Pelo have been on good terms ever since this incident, and talked it out privately. Pelo even posted this as a response so the drama could end. And we're all done. Thank you so much for watching this whole thing. I spent a lot of time working on it, so you seeing this really made it all worth it. Sorry that this video took so long. I didn't realize how extensive the history of this era was. I kept finding more stuff to talk about the more I did research. There were some things I wanted to talk about. For example, the obviously fake, mass-produced Storytime animated videos that became a trend recently. But I didn't really have time to get into them, and there's other videos that go into more depth. I also want to apologize for how the script feels super rushed. I've been very busy with school and work, so I didn't have time to do multiple drafts, but I'll be sure to do that for the next one. Anyway, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers, and I'd love to hit the goal as soon as we can, so please subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed. Have a good night, everybody. Before the video ends, I briefly want to talk about a member of the kindergarten who I skipped over when discussing what happened to them. I want to warn people this part of the video is dark and deals with heavy topics, so here's your warning. Unfortunately, on January 4th, 2022, Steven Zamora, otherwise known as Turtle Amigo, was found dead at the age of 25 from suicide. Steven's mental health had been declining over the past few years. His depression had become so bad that he couldn't handle it anymore and took his own life. In 2020, I was able to talk to him briefly over DMs on Instagram. Steven was a very humble and down-to-earth guy. Every conversation I had with him was very pleasant, and he always had such creative ideas and a strong passion for the medium. I don't know if this is enough to consider him a friend, but I wanted to add this part at the end of the video as a tribute to his legacy. Rest in peace, Steven.